ಬೇರು ಹೊಸ ಚಿಗುರು ಕೂಡಿರಲು ಮರ ಸೊಗಸು. ನನಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಷ್ಟ ಈ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮದ ಕಗ್ಗ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮಾತು ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮಾತು ಸಮಾನವಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಡಿ ವಿ ಗುಂಡಪ್ಪ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ that old roots and new shoots, new leaves, that is the way forward. ಹೊಸ ಯುಕ್ತಿ ಹಳೆ ತತ್ವ, he says. New ideas, new possibilities with the old ancient deep rooted knowledge of our culture. ಋಷಿ ವಾಕ್ಯದೊಡನೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕಲೆ ಮೇಲವಿಸೆ ಜಸವು ಜನಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ, he says. With the teachings of the rishis of the past, the spiritual teachings, and Vijnana Kale, all the modern science and technology, when they come together, that's when there is going to be welfare of the society, there is going to be goodness and glory. The same thought is reflected in Mundakopanishad when Rishi Shaunaka goes to Angirasa and asks, Kasminnu bhagavo vijñate sarvamidam vijñatam bhavati. What is that I must learn so that I can know about everything? I will get to know about everything. Shaunaka himself is a great rishi who has already done enough tapas, has learnt all possible scriptures, and everything that is possible to be done he has done. However, yet he has this doubt that his education is not complete. There is something that he does not know which he should know in order to know everything, the truth of everything. And then Rishi Angirasa blesses him with the discourse of Mundakopanishad, and where he says, Dve vidye veditavye, two kinds of knowledge you must learn. And these two he defines as parachaiva aparacha. One is paravidya and other is aparavidya. One is rishi vakya, other is vijnana kale. One is hale tattva, other is hosa yukti. One is hale beru, one is hosa chiguru. You must learn the knowledge of this world in order to work and contribute positively to the societies. At the same time, you must never forget your ancient spiritual roots. This is the teachings of the Upanishads. This is what is the thought of the great poet DVG. And this is our thought too. In our education system, it's not just reading scriptures and Vedas and Upanishads and living in a glorious past. That has to be coupled with the modern knowledge of science, technology, and all other fields in a way that our students can contribute positively to the society. Where there is poverty, ill health, unequal opportunities, they must bring hope, they must bring opportunities, they must provide succor, they must provide service over there with their knowledge of the modern education. At the same time, all this should be inspired by their deep-rooted understanding of our ancient scriptures. When we achieve these two together, that is when our education is complete. Our very honorable speaker, Kageri ji, had visited Gulbarga campus while it was being inaugurated as a small high school in the 2012. He had visited there to open the campus. And today, it has grown into a university. Being an education minister of the past, he must be knowing that no high school grows into a university within 5 years. It's never happened in anywhere in the world. But it has happened because there is a great amount of inspiration derived from Baba's teaching, derived from the Upanishads, Vedas, Indian culture, which is driving this mission. That high school had to give way for the university, because today this university stands as a beacon of hope for the mankind that is deviating from the noble path. Satyam vada dharmam chara, says the Upanishad. Speak truth and follow the righteousness in your life. But today, as I travel around the world and look at the plight of the youths especially, I see them doing just the opposite. Satyam vada dharmam shara. Truth is being sacrificed and dharma is not being followed, it's in decline. Because there is nobody to tell them what is the right path. They don't know what is the way in life. And all the old orthodox religion is now thrown to winds. When I have been to a place called Italy, if you look around the world, Italy is one more place where a lot of spiritual things happen. A great religion was born and spread all around. And when I went to a place called Padova, they took me to a great church or something, very large mansion. I asked them, what is happening over here? They said, they were telling that now these are all being converted into restaurants. I said, why? People don't come to worship anymore. He said, no, there is no crowd, no attendance at all, and therefore all these things are being converted into restaurants. And I was very surprised that in those days of the past, these huge mansions were built thinking that there will be so much crowd which will need this kind of a hall to seat them. And today, when the population is 20 times more than what it was in the past, these halls are empty. And that situation is not different in other countries. Everywhere is the same. Religion has not been able to answer the very basic fundamental questions of the young. However, all the answers to all the questions ever possible in the world are present in our Indian scriptures, the Vedanta. That teaches us the right way to live our lives in this world, that answers all doubts and questions of anybody. I can boldly say that anybody can ask any question, you will find the answer somewhere in Vedanta, directly or indirectly. So when Kageri had come last time, he had several questions. Generally, he conducts question and answer sessions in the assembly. So when he came here, he was asking me and I had to answer. But then whatever I felt was right, I told him. As long as we live in these narrow compartments, as Rabindranath Tagore himself says, where the world is not broken down into fragments by narrow domestic walls. This narrowness of our thinking, that is the cause of the decline of our spirituality. Our spirituality has been reduced to mere practice of certain rituals externally, and the purpose of that is only to gain something for one's own selfish sake. It's not for everyone. When we started the Navaratri festival, the first thing I said is, the idea of these festivals is to bring harmony, hope, peace, health, happiness to the whole world. Our scriptures tell, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let me alone not be happy, let everybody be happy. Which other country says that? Which other scripture, which other religion talks about that? Such great countries, such great culture we have inherited from our ancestors. And as today we were discussing, he was saying, today we need to have that courage to stand up for our culture, for our spirituality, for our traditions, for our faith. Because somebody in the past stood for all this, therefore today we have something in our hands to learn from. And we discussed that how Adi Shankara in the beginning, when the Indian spirituality was in continuous decline, and the problems were more within than without, the caste system, the social disparities, the treatment of people in an unjust way was leading to the decline and destruction of the Indian culture and spirituality. That is the time when other religions came up. Buddhism came up, Jainism came up, Christianity spread, and also alongside, over a period of time, many other small and big religions occupied the country. But it is to the credit of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, who saw this happening when Indian religion was mired by the old school thinking, the dogmas of the past and very superstitious in its approach, he brought out the Vedantic truths to the common masses. And he revived the Indian spirituality. But for his efforts in those days, walking all the way, without any support, without any help, without any followers also. He walked east, west, north, south all by himself and traveled the country twice to establish 4 matas then. But each of these further continued to propagate, promote Vedic culture, spirituality. And his writings, Shankara Bhashyas, on most of the important Upanishads, till today serve as the best commentary with greatest clarity that one can have. After him, the next person that I give all the credit to is Swami Vivekananda. While Adi Shankara walked the length and breadth of Bharatavarsha, Swami Vivekananda traveled across the oceans to go to the west and propagate Indian thought on spirituality, guided by his Guru Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And it is to his credit that he first sowed the seeds of Vedanta in the far west. Now the responsibility is on our shoulders to take this Vedantic thought, to take this Indian spiritual culture to the corners of the world. And it will happen in the times to come. He was asking, is there a hope? The way we are relinquishing our own traditions, culture, and we don't even have the courage to own up and stand up for it. In these times, what is the future? What is the hope? And I told them, you wait and watch. This university has been established with this one single purpose: to train Vivekanandas of the future, who will get up, walk, and reach corners of the world to teach this spiritual knowledge to the masses. Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata. Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached, was the clarion call of Vivekananda, which he had borrowed from the Kathopanishad. And that is our call too. If India has to survive, Indian culture has to survive. Indian culture is the root of the tree called India. And Indian culture's root derive its sustenance from Indian spirituality, which is very simple. Just now a girl came and told about Jaipura, I call her biology lab's skeleton piece. She said, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. This is Shankaracharya's summary of all the Indian spirituality, that God alone is truth, everything else is illusion, and you are none other than God. This deep conviction has to get inside our mind. Though they chant in the mantras, I have nothing against them, papoham, papa karmaham, but I don't agree to them. We are not such low born. We are not those who should be called sinners. We are divine. Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. We are the very divine itself. And that should be the conviction which should drive us in our lives. And if you completely believe that you are none other than divine, your thought, your word, your actions, manasekam, vachasekam, karmanyekam, mahatmana, that trikarna shuddhi will come. And your thoughts will change into divine thoughts, your words will change into divine words, your actions will be divine. And that is the idea of these Upanishads. So you have to continuously believe you are divine. Let the world say what they say. Let others say, sinners and saints. We as Indians should always carry this conviction in our hearts that we are nothing else but the divine himself in so many forms. Ekoham bahusyam, he says. Let one become many. Said God, and all this emerged. This is what our Vedas tell us. Therefore, it is on your shoulders, children of this university, children of these institutions, to carry forward the work that started by the great rishis of the yore, and this must continue through you all and spread to the whole world. There is no other refuge for the world other than Indian spirituality. And I am not saying just as an imaginary thing, but I know in times to come, when the world will ask questions and try to search for answers, they will find all their answers only in Indian thought. No other religion, no other thought, no other philosophy will be able to guide them correctly. And having tried and tested all other thoughts and philosophies, finally they will arrive to the conclusion that the best and the only clear, concise, and perfect spiritual philosophy is the Indian thought of Vedanta. And that is going to happen. And therefore, those who know Vedanta, those who know Upanishads, those who understand, those who have experience, they are the ones who will be the future teachers. Because the whole world will look towards India to learn these great truths. Such great golden times are coming. And I know they are coming. So his worry and the worry of so many like him, what will happen to the culture of this country? What will happen to this great Indian thought? What will happen to our traditions? They need not worry. There is a hope in our students of the university who are going to be the torch bearers of our Indian culture and spirituality. They will take it to the corners of the world. So there is nothing to fear. The dream of all the great rishis, great saints, great sages, and thought leaders, and leaders like you will all be fulfilled by our students in the future. And you will see it in your lifetime as it happens. But that time has to come. We have just sown the seed. We are nurturing it with this water of love. Over a period of time, this will grow into a giant tree. And that will give shade, shelter, fruits of wisdom to the whole world. And that time is coming. So this university has not been just established as just another university. No. It has a purpose. It has a very clear, a very unique, very defined purpose. And in that, all these things are going to happen. I must also convey our gratitude to him when the university bill was being presented in the assembly. That time he was sitting in the opposition, and it was a difficult time. The government was fragile and there was much happening, and it was the last session. Imagine if the university bill was not cleared on that day, we had to wait, we don't know how long. And while it was being presented by the ruling government's minister, our T.B. Jayachandra ji, he unequivocally, he stood up and told about our bill, and he said, I have visited their place, I know they are very good people, they are doing very good work, this has to be given clearance. He stood up and spoke for it. In all that, you can imagine the chaos of the assembly. Last session, many bills to pass. There are people walking out, there are people walking in, there is so much happening. Amidst this, the university bill is being presented. And in that, they need support, they need other members to say, and he stands up and says, I have visited that place, I know they are doing very good work. See, Sarkara, Samaja, Samstha. These three things have to come together. One Samstha cannot do this. Only Samaja cannot do this. Only Sarkara cannot do this. When all the three comes together like a tripod, then work will happen. So when Sarkara supported us, whether ruling or opposition does not matter, it's the governance at the end. When they supported us wholeheartedly, when an institution like this rose and struggled its way to build the university, and when the whole society, the devotees from around the world and so many other people supported this institution, such a great noble initiative has taken birth. And in times to come, it will grow into very glorious future. And there is no doubt about it. I always tell, there is only this way, there is no other way. Nanya pantha ayanaya vidyate. This is the only way to change the world. This is the only way to bring peace and happiness in the world. This is the only refuge to the world, our Indian culture. and our university has this great privilege and honor to carry forward the great works of our rishis, and I'm sure our children will live up to the expectations that are from them, and they will shoulder this responsibility with great courage, great enthusiasm, great willpower, great conviction, and great devotion. I think this is enough for today's talk. But I'm very happy to hear our children speak, and I'm so happy that all these things that they learned over the last few months has gone deep into their minds. Start early, drive slowly, reach safely, I say. This is the generation which has started early. Sure, they can drive slowly and reach safely to their destination. And I wish you all that you develop that strength, that dhira, that dhairya to walk on this path. Obstacles will come, difficulties will come, but you should not look back. Should keep walking. Prapya varan nibodhata. It says, Shurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam pathastat kavayo vadante. This is a difficult path. Vivekananda only quoted the first line. I am telling the second also. He said, get up, walk, reach, don't stop. The other side of the Upanishad says, it's a difficult path. It's a razor's edge, sharpened edge of the razor. It's a nishita. Duratyaya is very difficult. Durgam patha. This is a difficult path. Kavayo vadanti, the wise ones have told, because they have walked and they have probably failed, some of them. But don't worry. You have God with you. You have the blessings of so many great souls of the Indian soil. And more than anything else, you have your own conviction, your faith with you. And that will take you to your destination. Don't ever fear, don't ever worry. Keep walking. And definitely you will reach your destination. I'm blessing you with all the success and strength that Navaratri is here to offer, as Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, which is all required to do anything in the world. Even Vedanta, following Vedanta requires all the Shaktis. May Mother Goddess, who is the Shakti Swarupini, bless you all with the spiritual strength to undertake this endeavor, and you transform yourself first, and through you, let the world be transformed. Once again, I convey our gratitude to Kageri ji, who has made time to come here, and he has to travel again, but he made it here, and we are very happy. It's your home, it's your institution, and anytime you can come, you are welcome always. And these are your children, these are your family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So this is how we look forward to seeing you again and again on behalf of everybody here from the university and all the students and devotees from the ashram. We extend our gratitude and we extend our welcome and invitation to visit again and again. Don't wait for another Navaratri to come. You can come anytime.